So earlier today, Apple released the new Apple Watch Series 2, iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, and an all-new AirPods. So today we're going to break it down and discuss what happened. That's not going to go.
So Apple started with a couple of very minor things, Mario, some sort of Mario game is coming to iOS and other things. The main thing that came out of that was iWork collaboration. It was actually pretty cool, the demo that they did live, how they managed to change the slideshow.
Yeah, they actually edited the slideshow that the entire event was presented on live in the studio, which was pretty cool.
It was interesting. I will say, Google Drive has been doing the same thing for many years, but it's a nice addition.
So after that, Apple moved on to the Apple Watch Series 2, which as far as I can tell is just the regular Apple Watch with GPS, dual-core processor, water resistance, and there's a new ceramic version, which, by the way, they didn't say this in the keynote, costs $1,250 starting price.
That's for the 38mm Sport. Interestingly enough, the original Apple Watch, which is now called the Series 1, gets the dual-core processor that the Series 2 introduced. So it leaves you to think, why do you need the Series 2? It's more expensive after all, and
starting at $370 compared to the Series 1, which starts at $270 with the dual core.
That's a $100 difference. So why would you do it? Well, if you're a swimmer, you'd want the added water resistance. And if you're a serious runner, you might like the GPS, but for the majority of people, save the $100 and get the other one. You'll still get the dual-core processor, but you won't have to spend so much.
Now, the only thing you would miss out on by buying the Series 1 is the Nike Watch Plus.
Oh, that's something to look at, I
must
say.
It is.
Very flashy in an athletic way, I think.
Yes. Now, it's basically an Apple Watch Sport with some added functionality in the operating system and a very strange perforated black and neon greeny yellow band, which personally I find absolutely horrendous.
I can understand the perforations because of, sweating and it helps with that,
but it's awful.
To wear it, for anything else, you probably want to get another band with that.
And now we move on to the main event, the iPhone 7. And the very first thing we see is a rather interesting video explaining how they make the jet black version, which is very smooth and glossy, and they have a video where they're like, look at this, rubbing it in cocaine-looking stuff.
This begins with rotational 3D polishing, a specialized compound
the complex geometry
flows over the intricate geometries of the housing.
And
dipping it in that bath of whatever it was.
A magnetized ultrafine iron particle bath.
Whatever they said.
And how the paint becomes a part of the enclosure.
Yes.
While actually becoming part of the surface itself.
Of course. Very
Apple, very Johnny
Apple.
Ive.
Very precisely engineered parts. Our obsession remains the aluminium body, absolute unity. The enclosure then goes through an anodization process, oxide layer, through a capillary effect to a superior high shine.
Oh, yeah.
But I think the phone is actually really attractive. I really like the glossy black. I think it looks absolutely fantastic to have the back of the phone kind of the same finish almost as the front of the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like this awesome Darth Vader slab of metal and glass. Well, it looks really, really amazing in all of their promos. I feel like that glossy back will get just as smudged as the screen. And if that's anything to go by, then this thing is going to look like a giant fingerprint all the time. Now, the next big difference is stereo speakers. So the speaker at the top, which is used for the earpiece, is also now a full bona fide stereo speaker matching up with the one on the bottom. So it's kind of like the iPad Pro in a way, in that you can get stereo sound with a lot more amplification and sound dynamic range than you had on the 6S and everything before that. So it's very nice to see that they've brought that to the iPhone 7, especially since it's kind of commonplace nowadays for phones. I mean, look at the Nexus 6P. So many phones that have top and bottom stereo speakers that it's kind of I'm glad they're finally in the game
Yeah,
here.
it's about time.
And obviously, as we are all expecting, there is no headphone jack. And Apple pretty much immediately jumped up like, whoa, wait, guys, wait. Headphone jacks are super old. Look at this old picture of a switchboard. Do you want that on your phone? I don't want that. That's old. So, you're not gonna miss it. And then they bring up, for those of you who still have the old headphone jacks, which weren't old until 4 minutes ago when you decided they were, there are 900 million devices that use the lightning port. None of which I have ever seen, but apparently they exist. And one of them apparently is included with the iPhone 7, which is the Earpods with a lightning connector. Yay! Woo!
Here's what I'll say. I am kind of disappointed that if you plug your earbuds in, you can't charge. Because I could imagine maybe not so much with the Earpods, but if you get a nice set of headphones and, you know, you're sitting somewhere and you want to charge, you won't have that option. But I guess it works out.
It does have an adapter in the box, so it shouldn't be that big a deal unless you lose the adapter and then have to pay $85 to replace it. And speaking of sound, we might as well talk about them now. AirPods.
Oh, yes.
What are they? They kind of look, to me at least, like someone took some regular earpods and then just cut the wires off.
There we go. Little visual demo. Would you like to do the honors? Ah, there it is.
There. That's right. Oh, that's what they look like.
There it is, right there.
Wow.
You seen it here first.
This is it. AirPods. They go in your ear.
So the AirPods have a bunch of technology inside of them. There's a new
Apple design W1
chip because Apple loves making new chips. But it has accelerometers in it. It has a touch sensor, so you double tap on it for Siri. It has dual beam microphones. Each one, you know, acts like a beam microphone, so you can talk to Siri or talk on the phone. And they plug right into the case, which charges them. And the syncing is super cool. You just take your case up to your phone and you open it, and it'll show up right on your phone. No.
Yeah, and I should point out that the case can be plugged in to charge the actual case itself, and then those can give 24 hours of charge to the earpods.
And then each AirPod lasts for 5 hours.
Exactly. So you kind of get a bit of a daisy chain of battery life, but, you know, it works. The only thing that doesn't work for me is the price, because at $160, that is insanely pricey
It is.
for earpods with the wires chopped off. Now the next big thing is the new camera on the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. Now there's a lot of crazy new features packed into it. We've got a 6-element 12 megapixel lens, and optical image stabilization comes now to the iPhone 7, even the little one, as well as the big one obviously. But the real showstopper is on the big one, the iPhone 7 Plus. Because next to that fantastic new camera module that we see on the iPhone 7, we also get this telephoto lens that is paired together with it to create a really awesome camera bundle. So basically what this means is you have your regular wide-angle lens like you get on the iPhone 7 with the optical image stabilization and all that jazz. And next to it is a telephoto lens, which is basically a zoom lens. So it's a 55mm lens that the software blends with the wide angle. So you can have 10 times zoom.
Which is super cool because before, you know, you'd have to rely on software zoom, which makes things look super grainy. But now you can switch over to the telephoto lens, which is made for zooming in. They showed a really cool example in the keynote. They took a picture of someone sitting in front of a really tall building from really far away, zoomed in right up as if you were right in front of the person. It was actually a really cool example.
Yeah, so I should point out that from the wide-angle lens, you have a little button that says 1x. Tap on that and you switch to the telephoto lens for 2 times optical zoom. Now, you can zoom anywhere in between that and all the way up to 10 times using a combination of optical and digital zoom. So, to wrap off the event, Apple talked about the new storage upgrades. So basically, everything from the 6S, the storage upgrades have been doubled. So you start at 32, jump up to 128, then you jump to 256, all for the same prices as last year. So that's pretty nice that you don't have to pay any extra. You just get more storage.
Just one thing to note, the Jet Black, as it's officially called, starts at 128 and then 256. So the 32 gigabyte option is not available. If you want the nicer color, you're gonna have to pay pay a little bit more.
But that pretty much does it for this year's iPhone event. I'm personally pretty excited for the iPhone 7. I'm on the Apple Upgrade program, so I'll be getting that and reviewing it for you guys, as well as an unboxing, of course. And I will see you guys in next week's video.